try and pass this Tesla. Oh, he's too heavy in the corners.
No way.
Let's go. I'm foot to the floor.
Too soon, Junior.
Oh, that was short-lived. That's a fast car. Let's see if we can catch him. Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of our budget build series, where we're headed to Hockenheimring to see if any of our modifications actually help you with your lap times. Let's go. There's a Jetta on the track. What the heck? He's fast. I like this green Beamer though. First lap, I warm up the tires. We got oil, tires, alignment.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Entire checklist.
So first time I came, the brakes overheated, the rear brakes. I just 3D printed some brake cooling. The second thing was the brake pedal will get squishy, so we replaced it with a high performance brake fluid over stock normally.
I got you.
And then tires, I had some Goodyear tires, and those were no good. Those weren't good for this purpose, so we have now the Yokohama 8008R tires.
Yeah.
They grip really, really well. They heat up nicely. They have a nice sidewall so that the tires don't move around so much. It inspires a lot of confidence, as you'll feel.
Yeah.
But it's been systematic. Oh yeah, we did the suspension with the Bilstein B12 Pro kit. So it's a street suspension developed on the Nürburgring.
Interesting.
So it's like 1 or 2 levels above stock.
Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous, but I know
excited.
this is fun.
Excited.
How do you feel?
Fun. So far, so good. And I like seeing that one. It doesn't look fast, but then you see the internal bars, and you think, okay, he's prepared. There's some.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He got internal cage.
Check out
He's
the
got
door.
lightweight
He took
doors.
out the door.
Yeah, he has
Just
some
minimalist
Motec
door,
wheels.
right?
Oh no, it's Oz wheels. Super lightweight. Yeah, it's probably pretty fast, especially on this track.
A few moments later.
And then, is that just a
Abarth.
Seat me?
It's an Abarth.
No, way in front of that. That's just
Oh,
it's
it's
what the hell?
What the heck?
Is that one participating?
It has a Nürburgring sticker.
I'm dying. That
What
is
the
fun. This
heck?
is like, look at our competition.
Look at that. It has a Nürburgring sticker. It has another sticker over there. Oh, that's Hockenheimring. Yeah, well, we'll see how fast he is. I mean, that's the thing. It's not about going fast. It's about being smooth. Because if you're smooth, you'll be faster. So, and it's about having fun. I'm just here to... I like driving. Let's go drive. You excited?
Yeah. It's gonna be
That's what
fun.
you came for.
This is fun.
So now that you know all the modifications, let's see which ones helped us most with our lap times. Now disclaimer, measuring lap times during tourist environment is actually forbidden. It is not a race, keep it safe, and just enjoy driving on the track. All of this data is based on lap times I pulled from my GoPro over the last several years and is for comparison use only. So, on my very first visit, I was learning the track and the limits of the car. In its stock form with only 8008R tires in a staggered setup, I was able to put together one solid lap each stint until the brakes overheated. My best time was at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. On my second visit, I had the Bilstein B12 Pro kit installed, lightweight Outtech wheels, and moved to a 225/40 R18 square setup on the 8008R tires. My best lap clocked in at 2 minutes 29 seconds, gaining around 8 seconds over the previous visit. Still, if you look at the lap times, I didn't have good consistency, as once the brakes got hot, they were hard to modulate, so I had to take it easy after they overheated. To solve that problem in a budget way, I designed and 3D printed some basic brake cooling for the rear of the car and added some tubing at the front. At my next visit, I was able to push the car the whole stint and was much more consistent in my driving and braking, averaging faster lap times overall. I still was not satisfied with the overall brake pedal feel. So I moved to steel braided brake lines to try and help modulate the brake pressure. And on my 4th visit, after getting a warm-up stint with my buddy in the car, I was ready to send it on the track and see what the car could really do.
All the way to the right side of the track. Nice. And on the gas.
Yeah, let's go.
Pretty good, eh?
Pretty nice.
Here, brake in a straight line, downshift, turn in, and on the gas. That was a terrible corner. So these guys in a Seat and in a Barth 500, they're about at my speed. We seem to be, you know, they're faster in the corners. I may be a bit faster on the straight. But it's crazy that these little cars are so quick.
So how fast did we actually go? After all the blood, sweat, and busted knuckles building this car, I locked in behind the wheel, smooth, focus, and dial. The lap times, they speak for themselves. I ran my most consistent stint ever, clocking not 1, but 2 back-to-back laps at a personal best of 2 minutes and 28 seconds. While I didn't have the straight line speed, I gained time braking later and later as my confidence grew, catching up to the faster cars in front of me. I knew for our next modifications, we needed even better brakes. Now thankfully by the time I'm editing this video, the new brakes are already on the car and I'll be headed back to Hockenheimring soon, so consider subscribing if you're interested in seeing how fast we can go with the next phase of modifications coming soon. Now at this moment, I was super proud of the fact that the car was still in one piece and survived 2 stints with no issues. But as you saw in part 1 of the build series, you know that old BMWs love to put up a good fight. And sure enough, I noticed the oil temps were through the roof.
But our oil was 130. That is crazy.
130 degrees centigrade is so hot that it can cause the engine oil to thin out, which can seize the motor, and can cause brittle BMW plastic and other components to fail, which is probably what happened to this E46.
Looks like this guy broke down. E46 on the side of the road. It's a pretty normal sight, right?
Anyway, I went and got some fuel, and boom, it happened.
So we just got off the track. Everything seemed fine. And I went and got some fuel right there, and the engine started stumbling when I started it back up, so listen.
No, wait. Wait.
So I'm wondering what happened. Something has come loose or has overheated or has died, and I don't know what it is. And it's so hot, holy moly. So I think I need to let this thing cool all the way down and then fiddle with it. So that may be it for me, guys. I may have either blown the engine or I don't know. It's not throwing any codes though. Okay guys, I think I need to think about this logically. So if the motor's seized, we can't test that right now because it's not seized. It starts. There's no codes on the dash yet. If it was misfiring, it should give me a code actually if it's misfiring. So what I'm gonna do is, I think maybe like an oxygen sensor or something has died. So what you can do to quickly check is to unplug your map sensor, which is right here. Right there on the intake. what that should do is it should go not into limp mode, but it should go into like a stock map where it doesn't need the sensor and it doesn't need the oxygen sensors to run. So let's try that. Man, if this doesn't work, that means our engine, all of that hard work, the rebuild, all of that effort is gone, and we've cooked a bearing or something, which doesn't make sense because I've put a liter of oil in it. So let's just test this out. Moment of truth. It's running. Yes!
Great success.
No knocking. It's working. So now the question is, do we go back on the track or not? Because I just missed my session, so I'm down 25 bucks. Did I miss the last session, or I risk it and maybe I don't get home? We really had a great time in Hockenheimring, even though the car kind of broke. We'll figure out why and what those sensors are doing and why they aren't working anymore. So let's recap. Wheels and tires, huge improvement, huge amount of grip, much more balanced. Suspension, we have the Bilstein B12 Pro kit with the iBox springs. The car is just so much easier in the corners. There's less body roll, and then the alignment on top of that really helped. There's no more understeer, or there's less understeer, I should say. I think I should figure out how to turn off the ABS when we're driving, but as you can see in one of these parts, I did lose control in the back end once the rear tires were heating up. Tires are nice and hot. So I don't know, I think ABS can save you. Motorbikes are going now. So next thing on the list to modify is bigger brakes. The brake cooling did help. These are the exact same rear pads that we had on when they were squeaking like crazy. It's the same ones. They even have an extra 20,000 kilometers on them. They worked great, but we need either better pads or bigger brakes. So I would like you guys to leave a comment if you think we can go to bigger brakes like a 335i or something else, because I guess a better pad we could try first and then maybe just go bigger brakes, because we've sort of maxed our braking system on the track. These brakes are great for the Nürburgring though. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out my other video tutorials on my channel. If any of these videos were helpful to you, consider dropping a like and sharing these videos on social media to help other BMW owners save money fixing their cars. See you guys in the next video.